In solo leveling, outside the gate, the hunters and agents stood by. One of the members of the Courage Guild discussed what might be happening inside, noting that it had already been an hour since the Hunters Guild went in. He remarked that if they had entered instead, they would have surely been screwed. Suddenly, someone announced that the hunters were finally coming out of the gate, but they were completely beaten and battered. It was clear from their multiple injuries that something had gone terribly wrong. The observing hunters were in utter shock, seeing the elite members of the Hunters Guild emerge in such a state after entering what was supposed to be a C-rank gate. Jin-Woo then approached the other hunters, asking if they could help transport the casualties, which shocked them even more. A few minutes later, Jin-Woo walked out of the gate nonchalantly. With a bit of disappointment, he thought to himself that since the architect's real body was somewhere else, not all of his questions had been answered. Jin-Woo then walks up to Jin-Woo, informing him that 20 top-ranked elite hunters had died inside. He noted that if it had been a dungeon break, the extent of the damage would have been unimaginable, and questioned whether Jin-Woo had tried to stop it all alone. Jin-Woo looked down at the row of corpses with a blank expression. He acknowledged internally that they died because of him, and that he had only survived thanks to the aid of the hunters, guild, and the surveillance team. Jin-Woo frowned, explaining that the surveillance team is always notified when an S-rank gate becomes active, and that the decision to call the Hunters Guild for cooperation had been his own. Still, the result was tragic. Jin-Woo then asked Jin-Woo how he discovered the double dungeon within this specific gate. Jin-Woo responded that the dungeon had called out to him. This confuses Jin-Woo even more. However, Jin-Woo clarified that he received a message telling him to come. Jin-Woo then asked Jin-Woo if to see the message, but Jin-Woo told him that the message was only visible inside his head. Although confused, Jin-Woo accepted Jin-Woo's answer, sensing that he wouldn't be joking in a moment as serious as this. Hunter Cha, worried, approached Jin-Woo to check on him if he was all right. Jin-Woo looked back at her and responded, but before he could finish his sentence, he lost consciousness and collapsed to the ground, completely drained of his strength. Everyone nearby shouted in alarm as they watched Jin-Woo fall.